All right, let's talk about Kenny Pickett and his performance. Listen, the numbers are terrible, right? Passer rating of 66.2 in this game. This season, his passer rating has been very bad, in the mid-60s. However, I do feel like a bit of it has been poor luck. I think that part of it is his team's getting down early. He's now taking more chances and costing his team some getting some turnovers that way, things of that nature. I actually think he's playing okay, and let's talk about why I think he's playing okay. Let's talk about some of the good and some of the bad, just his performance in general. We can start off with this play. I have seen a little bit of some timing mishaps, it seems like is maybe the way to phrase it. This play is an example of a timing mishap where it's going to be, you have a one-on-one matchup on the outside to Chase Claypool. So, okay, this is what Claypool can do. He can win on the outside. That's the hope. Let's look in that direction. Makes sense. But look, right when this play begins, you see Claypool kind of, runs a fake a little bit, trying to get the corner out of position. And I'm not sure if Pickett just didn't notice that or what, because I think Pickett is expecting Claypool to be a little bit further. Perhaps I'm just making excuses and Pickett is just going to miss this throw, but watch what happens. Look, Pickett's throw is just further down the field than Claypool was. So again, I'm not sure if that was just Pickett wasn't expecting that kind of hesitation, but he did throw it slightly after the hesitation. Maybe he just didn't react in time, or maybe he just whiffed on a throw. But I noticed a couple of small things like that, and even some of these interceptions, which I'm not breaking down every single one. I thought that one of them was just straight up not his fault. The receiver fell. One of them was him just taking a chance on a jump ball, which I don't really have an issue with either. That was the last one. And then one was also kind of just a defender making a good play. I tend to be more forgiving on interceptions than most. Let's talk about some positives. Like this one, for example. What's going to happen here is it's a zone coverage play. It's a cover 3 zone. And you have, the route concept you see on the screen, where ideally you want to throw it to the receiver running a deeper route. But if he doesn't get open, hey, you have a halfback. That route can absolutely work as well. So, look down the field. If that's not open, then throw it to the check down. Kenny Pickett takes a snap. He does run this play action. He looks down the field. I've circled a different Pittsburgh player because that's also someone who can get open, but he is not going to get open either. You see the 2 Pittsburgh players further down the field are not open, but the halfback, Najee Harris on this play is relatively open. So, listen, if you're Kenny Pickett, you run the offense, right? You can't control everything else. All you can control is who you give the ball to. And look, as you see, that's what he's going to do. Also, sorry if there's some background noise. I feel like I typically say this, and it doesn't pick up on the microphone because I have a pretty good microphone at canceling background noise, but I hear it pretty clearly. So if you hear it as well, sorry about that. Not much I can do. Have to record this now. But yeah, a good play by Kenny Pickett, I would say, to just, run the offense well. That's what you want him to do as a rookie quarterback. It's not his fault the offense is failing at times. Like, this was another example of, listen, this is not the biggest highlight reel level play, and you hope that the highlight reel level plays can come with Pickett eventually. He's had a couple, he has, but, you hope that they come a little bit more, because, again, the 2 touchdown to 7 interception ratio looks terrible. I really do believe it's not as bad as that looks. He has played better than you would think, just looking at that. But you look at this play as an example of it's a cover 2 zone, and you have 2 receivers running deeper routes with a third running underneath. This is Claypool running relatively underneath. Watch how when Pickett takes the snap, you see how it's working out. It cleared out the area, and Claypool is open, and so Kenny Pickett reads it right away. He makes the throw right away, and they are able to pick up a first down on this one. So, very good play by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good play by Chase Claypool. Everything working well. And this is the stuff that Pickett thrives in, is when you're getting an offense just being ran well, he can be very effective. This is why I kind of made the Mac Jones comparisons a little bit. I didn't think he was as good of a prospect as Mac Jones was. I still don't, even though Jones is having kind of a weird situation in New England. But it's kind of that situation of if Pickett was in the situation Jones was in last year, I think we might see somewhat similar results. He's Pro Football Focus's 24th rated quarterback out of 36. That feels right to me. He's not a star, but he's not looking like he doesn't belong in the NFL either. Going over here now, this is another interesting example of it's a zone coverage play, and you see the route on the screen that can get open against this situation. It's George Pickens running a route that, on paper you can see how it can work, right? You get past the player over the middle of the field, but underneath the corner. Worth noting, though, the corner is playing at the line right here, so while he's covering quote-unquote deep, he still can move in and make a play if he has to. However, you see Pickett takes the snap, Pickett looks down the field, and there is a situation right now where there's a window where he can make this throw, but it's not a huge window, and I think a lot of quarterbacks would be afraid to make this throw and might throw sort of a check down route instead. But, it's second down and relatively long. You have to get to the 24-yard line on this play, so you would ideally like to be able to pick it all up right here. And so Pickett makes a good throw, and they're able to pick up a big completion there. So really good stuff from Kenny Pickett, again, of just reading the offense, understanding what his role is, where he has to go with the football, and making a accurate throw there. And finally, one last play. Let's talk about this one. So what's going to happen here is it's a man coverage play. This is a one-on-one matchup, and this is the stuff that I like about Pickett still. And listen, maybe you're saying I yada yada the negatives. I didn't feel like spending forever on the negatives. The negatives are there. The negatives exist, but I feel like we've talked about those to death, and I think that they've been a bit overblown. I do. I do think that the positives are more interesting to me, and I do think I see some positives, and this is a great example of, okay, you have George Pickens one-on-one on the outside, really good jump ball receiver already, even though he's only played one season, a guy who can win a one-on-one matchup, even if he doesn't have a ton of separation. But what I like about this play is, again, I think a lot of lesser quarterbacks, not just lesser rookies, but a lot of lesser quarterbacks in general, are too hesitant to make this throw. They might make it, but they might wait a little bit. You keep in mind, Pickett is on the hash marks on the top of the screen. So the longer he waits, the tougher the angle is going to be. So watch him take the snap and immediately makes this throw, and Pickens is able to make the grab and get a touchdown. Listen, it got them in trouble a little bit. Pickens is sort of just throwing them the ball up there and hoping for the best mentality at times, but it's the best strategy with the way the Steelers are constructed. I do think that it's the best strategy, and I think it has worked out at times, is you have situations like this one where, if he did anything else, that play was not going to work out. The Steelers, they have guys who can make catches. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and Chase Claypool are all guys who can make tough catches, but they're not really separation guys. That's just not really their game. So instead, having a quarterback who's not afraid to make this throw, it's going to, I think, get them the best opportunity down the line to win as many games as possible. It's also going to result in some games going the other way. And this one, again, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. That's never a great situation for a quarterback, but that doesn't mean that the quarterback actually played poorly. Even though he's, people are making the joke of, oh, you can't spell Pickett without pick. Okay, yes, listen, I get the joke, very funny, but he's currently tied for 18th in turnover-worthy play percentage. That's out of 37 eligible players, and 18th highest. So, not that it would be that different. It's 18th highest and 18th lowest, actually. That's just the way that the tie is gone. But that's where he's at in terms of turnover-worthy play percentage. So he's been middle of the road. I mean, he's right dead center in the middle of the pack in terms of how often he puts the ball in harm's way. He's just gotten kind of unlucky, and I think been forced to throw more jump balls than your average quarterback has. And so that's why I'm relatively higher on him than maybe someone else might be. But I don't know. Maybe everyone's high on him. I don't spend all day on Twitter, so who knows. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.